Think Life Coaching, empowering you to achieve your goals. Hi, guys, Coach Shiv here with a new series of videos, and this time it's called The Wonderful World of Emotions. Human reality is fundamentally emotional. I mean, our lives are controlled by our emotions. Do you agree? If we master our emotions, our lives tend to be in control. And it's generally heading in the direction that we want. On the other hand, if we become slaves to our emotions, then our life becomes like a feather in the wind, blown away by the slightest gust, or maybe like an out of control automobile. Lurching, swerving, and crashing often. In each episode, I'm going to talk about one emotion. After you watch the episode, you do your own self-analysis and you figure out, are you a master of that emotion or a slave of that emotion? So you ready to dive into the pool of emotions? Let's get rolling. I'll see you in the first episode pretty soon. Sorry for my terrible acting, but could you identify that emotion? That was anger. Hey, it's my show. I don't have to audition. So I'm going to try out my acting at the beginning of each episode. Don't say you haven't been warned. Alright, so coming to anger. Anger is not a sign of strength or power, of being macho. It's often mistaken for that, when the truth is it's actually the opposite. It's a sign of weakness, because it shows that you lack control. The Greek philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." See, the thing is, if people know that you have a short fuse and you fly off the handle pretty easily, you could be easily manipulated. Real strength lies in being able to control your anger, not getting rattled. Instead, trying to channelize your anger towards something constructive. So, my friend, are you a master of anger or a slave of anger? Think about that, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, did you guess what that was? That was meant to be fear. So this emotion, fear, has a very significant impact on our lives. And it's got quite a few acronyms. One of them is fear everything and run. And when it comes to a rational fear, where there is danger to limb or life, this acronym makes absolute sense. Like if you were being chased by an axe-wielding attacker, then of course you should fear it and run. But when it comes to irrational fears, think of this acronym of fear: future events appearing real. So this is like someone who's fearful of what might happen at the interview that he has next week. Or someone fearing what happens if she loses her job. Now, these are events that haven't happened, and yet there is fear. But I think the most appropriate acronym for fear is feel everything and recover. Accept that fear is a normal human emotion. Even embrace it, but still carry on. Don't let fear paralyze you. So, my friend, do you think you are a master of this emotion, fear, or a slave of this emotion? Hi. What was that? Could you figure that one out? Worry. One of the most common emotions that we all go through at different points in our lives. And when the worry gets constant and chronic, it becomes anxiety. There's a Swedish proverb: worry often gives a small thing a big shadow. So even the small things, through worrying, can appear really big. And worry is a very debilitating emotion. I have a simple formula to try and control my worrying, because I used to be a black belt ninja in worry. I'm trying to get better at it, and I'm still a work in progress. But my formula is straight away thinking about, is the thing I'm worrying about in my control? If it is, do something about it. Take the necessary action, whether directly by myself or by seeking help from someone else. But if the thing is not in my control, then just let it go. If you look at the current pandemic across the world, it's caused chaos and upheaval in so many people's lives. But we have to remember that constantly worrying about it will only make the situation worse. So we need to be able to accept a thing when we can't change it. So, my friend, do you consider yourself a master of the emotion worry or a slave of it? Could you guess that one? Is my acting getting any better? Any chance of an Oscar? No? That's all right. I'm not disappointed. That's the emotion. Disappointment. And what is disappointment? Mostly it is your reality not matching up to your expectation. Now, we can't often control our reality, it's out of our hands. But we can control our expectation and thereby control our level of disappointment. See, whatever you might be disappointed about, your job or career, your relationships, your friendships, your finances, just think about, what were your expectations? What expectations did your reality not match up to? If you take an event in your life that caused you a lot of disappointment, think about what is easier for you to change about it. The event itself that's already gone in the past, or your opinion of it? If you're willing to learn, I strongly believe that there's a lesson in every disappointment. Disappointment is inevitable. Discouragement is a choice. So, my friend, the same question again. Do you think you are a slave to this emotion of disappointment or a master? That's it, my friend. Sadness. That's the emotion we are talking about today. Sadness, which, if prolonged over a period of time, becomes depression. We all have sadness, emotional pain, loss in our lives. Just as we have day and night, we have happiness and sadness. But do you allow sadness to cripple you? Or do you just feel it, accept it, and move on? There's a beautiful expression: sadness flies away on the wings of time. So, apart from this philosophy of time as the best healer, here are a few recommendations for how you can handle sadness. Spend time with people who care about you. Don't just be in isolation when you're sad. Journal your moods, your feelings. See if you can write them down. It is a cathartic experience when you get sadness or your thoughts or your bad moods out of your mind and onto paper. Another thing is try and divert your mind, whether it be with work, music, movies, anything that can occupy your mind and take it away from that feeling of sadness, even if only temporarily. Get some fresh air. Nothing like going out for a walk and getting some fresh air. And if possible, try to find a silver lining in that dark cloud of sadness that might be hanging over your head. So, my friend, is your relationship with sadness that of a slave or a master? Not sure if that came across correctly, but the emotion I was trying to convey was envy. You know, the feeling of why me when something bad happens to us? And why not me when something good happens to someone else? We should try and reframe that in such a way that when something bad happens to us, we think, what can I learn from this? And when something good happens to someone else, we should think, how can I be inspired by that? The root cause of envy is low self-esteem. And this tendency to compare with others and become envious has been handed down to us by our ancestors since time immemorial. Think of the survival of the fittest that our ancestors had to go through. Unfortunately, in today's world, all these centuries later, we still think we're in a race with everyone else, when the truth is that our journeys are all unique. So the message that one should always have in terms of self-improvement is the only person that you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Well, that's it for this series. I hope you found it interesting and useful. I welcome all comments, even those that might be tempted to tell me to invest in some acting lessons. Thank you for watching, my friend, and take care.